Hi everyone, today we will be learning the second part of the history of the sonnets, and it includes the Elizabethan, British and Shakesperean sonnet. In the first part, I analyzed and discussed the Italian and Petrarchan form of sonnets, but in this part, you will find ins and outs of Elizabethan, British and Shakesperean sonnets. Before starting this period of sonnets, this part of sonnets, just I want to remind you again what is sonnet. Sonnet is a poem of 14 lines with a particular rhyme scheme, and this sonnet was first originated by Giacomo Lentini in the beginning of the 16th century. Many poets and scholars traveled Italy and they found precious wisdom of literature and they brought it back to his native land, England. Among them, Sir Thomas Yacht was a brilliant poet, scholar, and political ambassador. He also went to Italy and found the Petrarchan form of sonnet, and he imitated it. He imitated this form of sonnet blindly and imported this seed in English literature. And he started writing down. He worked hard on this format of poem. He blindly followed Petrarchan form of sonnet and Petrarchan theme of love. Yet was a very genius person, genius scholar, a renouncing of love and I find no peace are his brilliant form of sonnet. Sir Thomas Yacht was followed by his contemporary Henry Howard, the Earl of Surrey, who was also a very genius person, who was also a very genius scholar and a poet. He wrote sonnets on the theme of Petrarchan love, on the theme of love. He followed the theme of Petrarchan sonnet, but he did not follow the structure and form of Italian or Petrarchan sonnet. He was not imitative. He transformed the structure and form of Italian sonnet, and converted the octave and sestet into 3 quatrains and a couplet, and that is later known as Shakesperean sonnet. Thus, Sir Thomas Yacht and Henry Howard are called the father of English sonnets. Sir Thomas Yacht was the introducer and Surrey, the Earl of Surrey, was the advancer of sonnet. They were the Elizabethan poets. The next great Elizabethan poet was Sir Philip Sidney. Sir Philip Sidney was a great poet in English literature. Sidney also wrote a number of sonnets, and his sonnet sequence is known as Aristophel and Stella. That includes 108 sonnets. Philip Sidney fell in love with the daughter of Earl of Essex, but his love was frustrated. Thus his sonnets reflect the frustrated love. Sidney's sonnet is enriched with thoughts, with love, with emotion, with melody and music. And the next great poet of Elizabethan period was Edmund Spenser. Edmund Spenser is known as the father of Elizabethan poet. Again, I want to remind you, the Loving in Truth of Sidney is a very brilliant piece of sonnet. And Edmund is called the father of Elizabethan sonnet. Edmund Spenser also wrote sonnets on the theme of love. Spenser fell in love with the Elizabeth Boyle and he wrote sonnets. Spenser's sonnet sequence is known as Amoriti, that comprises of 89 sonnets. Spenser followed the theme of love of Petrarchan sonnets, but he did not follow the structure and formation of Petrarchan sonnets. He deviated from the conventional pattern of Petrarchan sonnets and wrote and used his own mechanism. And his sonnet sequence, his mechanism is A B B C C D C D E. 1592 to 1598, there were born a number of poets. There were born a number of unrecognized poets in English literature who also wrote sonnets and enriched the volume, enriched the soil of poetry in British language. English poet Samuel, the great poet Samuel wrote Delia. Thomas Watson wrote The Tears of Fancy. Burns wrote Parthenope. Fletcher wrote Lycia. Henry Constable wrote Diana. Burnfield's Cynthia is another great sonnet. William Drayton, Ideas We Wrote, is another brilliant sonnet. William Smith, Chloris. Burns, Sonnet to the Spirituality. And Henry Locke's Sonnets of Christianity. In 1597 and 1598, Robert Tofty wrote Laura and Alba, respectively. In the middle of the 16th century, 1564, in the year of 1564, a towering and a great literary character was born in England. He was none other than William Shakespeare, the bard of Avon. Besides writing immortal comedies and tragedies, Shakespeare also wrote brilliant piece of sonnets. His sonnets are divided into 3 sections. He wrote 154 sonnets. First 126 sonnets he dedicated to his friend, to his beloved friend, the Earl of Southampton. And next 26 sonnets he dedicated to a dark lady which is unknown. And the rest 2 sonnets are addressed to Cupid. Shakespeare's sonnets are a great specimen of art. His sonnets enriches the glory and beauty of sonnets world, sonnets kingdom. Shakespeare's sonnets are rich in thoughts. Shakespeare's sonnets are rich in thoughts, imagery, vocabulary. Shakespeare's sonnets actually represents the variety of our life, various aspects of our life. The sonnets deal with time and love and the power of poetry. Time and love and power of poetry. Next to Shakespeare, another great poet was born in the Jacobean period, and he was John Donne. John Donne was a holy poet. He wrote holy sonnets. His sonnets also reflect the Petrarchan germ. Donne's sonnets actually represent metaphysical love. And Drummond was another holy poet. Drummond also wrote holy sonnets, but Drummond was not as much real as John Donne. Their sonnets reflect Christianity, religious spirit. In the latter century, John Milton, the writer of Paradise Lost, also added a dimensional unification in the realm of sonnets. Milton did not follow Shakespearean and Elizabethan path. He completely followed the classical poets of Italy. He followed the Petrarchan path, Petrarchan way. His sonnets are completely personal. His sonnets reflect personal emotion, personal, religious, and political emotion. In the latter century, we come across William Wordsworth and John Keats. William Wordsworth and John Keats were great poets of England. Wordsworth was a poet of nature, and William Keats was also a poet of nature. They also added contribution in the field of sonnets. Wordsworth wrote 523 sonnets, and he followed Petrarchan path, Petrarchan way. But John Keats also wrote a number of sonnets, and he both followed the path of Shakesperean and Petrarchan form. In the ending 18th centuries onward, Arnold, Rossetti, Swinburne wrote sonnets. They also gifted a very good sonnets to the world of British literature. Rossetti's A House of Love is a sonnet sequence that reflect unique thoughts, emotion, art. In the 20th centuries onward, W.B. Yeats, Nesfield also added some contribution. This is what is the history of Elizabethan, British, and Shakesperean sonnets. Those sonnets actually was produced in the soil of Italy. So this is my analysis and explanation as regards sonnets. I think that it will help you a lot and you will get benefit from here. Both the parts will help you a lot, and this videos is mainly concerned for the students of honors and also for the students of MA in English. Be happy and be blessed by God.